Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stir the Coco. We are calling this episode Don't Get Too Comfy. There's scientific research why we shouldn't get too comfy. We all have our comfort zone, but let's look at what happens if we step out of that comfort zone. You'd be shocked what great things can happen. So let's walk you through a scenario. And this is something that came out by the Neuro Leadership Institute. So, you get called into your boss's office, or in this case, my principal's office, and immediately your brain goes into this threat state. It kind of feels like if you had footsteps behind you in a dark alley. And what happens? Well, it compromises your prefrontal cortex and interferes with the ability to think clearly. How many times after we've walked out of the boss's office or the principal's office and you tell yourself, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that. It's because you start to relax, calm down, and think clearly and better. But another thing can happen. So, you walked out of the boss's office and you don't want to go back. We try to avoid threat. What happens? Well, it traps us into comfort zones and it stops us from learning new things and, being adventurous. This leads to us ending up in a little box. There is an optimal level of anxiety that improves our performance. Scientists, Yerkes and Dodson, call it the Yerkes-Dodson Law. They said our performance increases when our stress increases, and our performance decreases when our stress decreases. So a mild threat state, they call it the optimal arousal or level 1 threat, is when we are the most productive. Well, too comfy or not comfy, we are not productive. A Yale neuroscientist, Amy Arnstein, and she says, quote, the prefrontal cortex is like Goldilocks of the brain. Everything must be just right or it won't work. Uncertainty signals the brain to kickstart learning. It likes when things get a little crazy. Adopting a growth mindset, comfort zones are where dreams go to die. It's like strength training. You stress your muscles beyond what feels comfortable. In the end, you get bigger muscles. Discomfort stimulates growth. And that's what we want to do for our brain, because here at Stir the Coco, we are all about brain health. We should try to do difficult and hard things 70% of the time. Unpredictability lights up our brain. Stability kills learning. This is something we need to keep in mind. When you step outside your comfort zone, your brain rewires itself. It literally forms new connections and pathways, and this is what they call neuroplasticity. So you're wondering, okay, how am I going to get out of my comfort zone? It can be taking a different route home. It can be going to a restaurant and ordering a new dish that you've never tried before. I can tell you literally a daily life simple example. Emptying the dishwasher. I always empty the dishwasher from top down. I do the glasses first, then the dishes, and then the silverware. The other day, I forced myself to start with the silverware. It took a moment for my brain to go, wait, what? What are we doing? Because literally that's what I do every single morning. And I felt like, whoa, I'm stepping out of my daily exact routine. Another example may be getting a book that is not usually a topic or a theme that you usually go towards. You might want to try a sci-fi book if usually you're, a romance kind of a book person. Another one that was interesting is get into a discussion or conversation where there's disagreement. And that was kind of shocking. Just, be careful. Things could get heavy. But there are discussion groups in a lot of communities, in community houses, where they pick a topic and people have to have a conversation about it. That is great stimulation for the brain and something that maybe, you haven't thought of. So please keep in mind that it is important to have a little discomfort in your life. And it's important to keep in mind that changing the meaning of discomfort, we want to call it reappraisal. Learn to see discomfort as an important sign of progress and growth. And many times in our society, we've been taught that discomfort is not a good thing. And, it's made us a little bit fragile and puts us in this little safety net where sometimes it does a little injustice. I mean, definitely for our brain. Our brain likes stimulation, it likes unpredictability. And so we need to keep that in mind, even in our day-to-day simple things that we do. You want to think further. Yes, you could travel and those kinds of things, but it doesn't have to be that complicated because obviously a lot of us can't travel every day. Keep in mind, comfort zones are where dreams go to die. So it is important to have 70% of the things you do to change it up and stimulate your brain. Well, that's my convo. I'm excited to share 2 interviews with you. I want to share what I did to get out of my comfort zone. I signed up for a women's self-defense class. It was an entire weekend, rigorous and very amazing. And it is something that I never thought, and it kind of just happened by default to how I ended up signing up for this course. And guess what? I got a certificate. I graduated from this course, and there's more that's available, and I really want to keep checking it out and doing more because it was good for the mind, good for the soul, good for confidence. I met amazing people, and one of them, I was very honored to be able to have an interview with Detective Miller. And Detective Miller is one of the amazing women that I met at this event, at this training. And she had a nice little chat with me, and I actually had her share some things that can keep seniors alert and safe in their community. So that is also an important thing, right? We're get out of our comfort zones, but also we have to be vigilant of, what's around us. And so she gives great advice in sharing it for the community. So that is my first interview. And then we're gonna hop over to Patricia, and she is one of my students and a sweetheart with a great personality, beautiful smile. And she shares a great story of her life, talks about stepping out of your comfort zone. You're going to love this. I mean, a lot of you are going to want to try this. So those are the 2 special treats we have today. So exciting. So hang on for our great adventures, Detective Miller, and then we'll hop over to Patricia. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe. There's a little button on YouTube. If you like us, give a thumbs up. This is a great passion of mine, and I want to keep sharing it with the world. And before we go, our Espanol, I have a phrase for you. Comfort zone in Spanish is zona de confort. Zona de confort. So that is comfort zone. We do not want to stay in our zona de confort. The next one is let's go. And it's vamos. That means let's go. Vamos. I'll put that in the show notes and you can add to your vocabulary. I'll see you there. Adios. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stir the Coco. I am honored to have Detective Miller here today, and she's going to share a lot of interesting things with us. But first of all, Detective Miller, tell us about yourself.
I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I graduated from West Texas High School, and I attended the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where I met my husband. I went back to El Paso, and I became a police officer for the city of El Paso from 2002 to 2004. Moved up in 2004, married my husband, been in Michigan since. displaced Texan.
Tejana.
Been a police officer at Bloomfield Township Police Department for 18 years, promoted to detective a few years ago.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. It's an incredible journey. And we wanted you to share with us, what are some tips that you recommend for our senior community to stay safe and be aware? Things you want to share with us?
Sure. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of financial scams. There are apps on our phones that can spoof phone numbers for DTE, your bank, Comerica consumers. So a lot of our older citizens are falling for those. They believe their bank is calling them or that DTE is calling them to say you're overdue on your account. You need to pay it immediately or it'll get shut off. And that's not true. They're typically scamming you to send money, either Green Dot or Bitcoin. If you receive a suspicious call, hang up. If you know you've paid your bills on time, go ahead and hang up. And feel free to call the real DTE, your real bank, and confirm that your accounts are fine. Another good tip, put credit freezes on your accounts with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If your identity is compromised, at least there's a freeze to prevent new accounts from being created.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of still the scams that do target our older community. Receive a phone call, my grandson is in jail.
Yes, actually,
And
my parents had that one. Yes.
hang
It's
up
really
and
scary.
call for yourself. Call your family yourself. Are you okay?
AI is starting to
To clone these voices.
clone our voice. I just scared that.
So, and it can compromise. Some of us can't hear as well. Always verify. Don't assume that they're telling you, these callers are telling you the truth. Hang up as soon as you can, immediately. The longer they keep you on the phone,
Yes.
they're able to psychologically keep hold of you. They will stay on the phone. Make sure you go to the bank, Bitcoin ATM.
They try to befriend you.
It kind of wears you down. It wears down that defense that you have. And then just afterward, you just want to get it over with. Another popular one is, we impounded a car in Texas and it's registered to you. And now we're going to come and arrest you.
Yeah.
If you don't pay $10,000. That's not true. Us as law enforcement, we don't call you and tell you, if you don't pay me over the phone, I'm going to come and arrest you. No,
Yeah.
we're just going to come and arrest you. If you have a legitimate warrant out for your arrest, we'll tell you, turn yourself into the appropriate court. It will never take money over the phone. So don't ever send anybody money over the phone.
Okay, that's great advice. Thank you. And what can people do in their neighborhoods? We hear a lot of break-ins now. What should people in their neighborhoods be doing to stay safe?
Be nosy. Keep an eye on each other. Know everybody's routine. Try not to fall into a routine. You have pickleball every day at 10, from 10 to 11, so they know that you're gone. Leave lights on. Prepare for your arrival home. If you have an alarm, set it and know your code. Use it regularly. Feel free to lock your doors when you're home. I lock my doors because I know I'm secure in my home, not leaving it unlocked because it's safe. Yes. Yeah. So lock your doors, lock your car doors, especially bringing all your valuables in at night. That's probably our number one crime. It's called larceny from auto. Oh, we leave our cars unlocked and they get rifled through every night.
City smarts, right? And city smarts. Detective Miller, thank you. She's a very busy person, and we're honored to have her. And now, just a fun thing, Detective Miller is from Texas. I ended up talking to her, and she does know some Espanol. So now I've caught her and said, you have to share something in Espanol for us. Detective Miller, give us a little Spanish lesson, please.
No Miranda in Spanish. Tienes el derecho a permanecer callado. Pero lo que dice puede ser usado en tu contra. In una corte lea. I said the first two lines of, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Phenomenal. Everyone has to study that.
Permanecer was the big word.
Permanecer callado. You can use that with your esposo. Permanecer callado. You get whatever you want. Gracias, Detective Arnstein. Un placer. We were honored. Thank you for keeping us safe. You stand in front of the line of fire for us. You keep us, our communities happy and protecting us. Thank you. Thank you very much for all you do. You're welcome. Appreciate it. Hasta luego. Adios. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Stir the Coco. We are talking about stepping outside your comfort zone. That has an amazing story. Okay, Patricia, tell us this great story about stepping out of your comfort zone.
When my children were younger and I was a single mother, not with not very much money, I couldn't take them to Disneyland and other places. So I would say, this weekend we'll go on an adventure. One of you has to choose to be the navigator, and all you have to do is tell me which way to turn. I would drive following their directions, and they didn't have a map, and I did. That was for no Google map. We would drive sometimes for a short while and other times for hours. We ended up in deserts and went hiking, collecting rocks in California. Another time, my daughter navigated us, and we ended up on the cliffs overlooking the beach above Malibu, actually. Oh, just where. Yeah.
And was there a limit where you're like, okay, an hour is the limit? Or like, how did you know when to?
When I got tired or they got tired. Right? And we actually, once I realized they enjoyed it and it was something we could do, gas wasn't as expensive back then. So that was the one thing I could afford. We would take picnic lunches, a big container of water or iced tea or lemonade. Go for the day. We had a lot of fun. We met people. We saw things we wouldn't ordinarily have seen. We actually ended up one day at Watts Towers, which is the creation of an Italian immigrant who used pottery shards to build a huge structure. Yeah, and wow, East LA. Times disappointed, other times very happy. But the idea of adventure was key. They would ask, can we go on an adventure today? And the housework done, homework done first.
Okay, and that's magical. That is magical. And I think those things, I wish they would exist more now, right? I think
if I had grandchildren, I would do that. This was before cell phones and Google. It was like if we got stuck, and we did once, that was the adventure of trying to find help.
Even now, the things you tell me you do, the sense of adventure, you have to step out of your comfort zone. I think it's wonderful. And I love your spirit about that.
Oh, it's fun. I like adventures.
No, I love it. You're a great example for sharing out of our comfort zone. And I think it's important for people to realize that. Say a Spanish word for us as that we can learn today. She has a story because it's been a long class.
Distinguishing between quart or quarter and four.
Yeah,
Cuarto versus cuarto.
her pronunciation. Chef's kids. Gracias, Patricia.
Gracias.